You're listening to Galaxy of Film.
Alright guys, welcome back to the brand new episode of Galaxy of Film. I'm of course your host Max, joined with my co-host Akari. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Still on break. You know, enjoying this time as much as possible because I know when I get back to school, or the winter quarter, that ain't gonna be no joke. So I'm enjoying this as much as I possibly can right now.
Yeah, enjoy it while you can, dude. It's rough over here. My break's getting ready to start tomorrow, after tomorrow, excuse me. Thank God, because it's brutal, dude. It's so brutal. But yeah, dude, welcome back to Galaxy of Film for our listeners. A little bit of a delay for last week's episode, my apologies. Finals week has been going on, kicking my ass left and right. So here we are, a little delayed, but this week we got a good episode for you regardless. We're talking about The Wiz and Wicked for Good. We did an episode originally last year with Brandon hosting, discussing the original Wizard of Oz and Wicked. So link down below to check that out to get your Brandon's thoughts on those. Brandon will be on this episode to kind of give his thoughts from the sequel, so you'll hear his thoughts again, a little bit about the first Wicked, but to kind of focus on that original Wizard of Oz stuff, check the episode out, guys. Good stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the news this week, Dakari. You know, because we got a big conversation we're having tonight with these guys for some Wicked, and we do have one piece of news to talk about that is really, really unfortunate. Not all the details are out at this moment just yet. We're going to get some more of those later on. Rob Reiner and his wife have tragically passed away. They were found dead in their homes in California this weekend. If you aren't familiar with who this is off the top of your head, he's directed one of my favorite films of all time, Stand By Me. And that fucking blows, dude. This man's work with Stand By Me specifically has been such a huge influence on my work as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, and as a writer in general. You guys haven't seen the product yet, but there is a film that I've been pitching nonstop. It's like Stand By Me meets Clerks. You guys probably won't see that until several years from now, but point being, this man's work is crazy influential, and it's the details we have right now are that it is apparent homicide. I know that his son, who I believe his name's Nick, is being questioned. Nothing is confirmed yet as to any other leads or suspects at this time of recording. I know we are recording this a couple days in advance from when you guys are listening to this. Maybe some things have changed by then, and if so, we'll talk about them next week on the podcast. But most importantly, rest in peace to Rob and to his wife. This one just came out of nowhere and really sucks, dude. Really, really does. How are you feeling about this, Dakari? Were you a fan of his work at all?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think he's made some of the best American films ever, like Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Stand By Me.
Really?
Misery. No, I haven't seen Stand By Me.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and Misery, and When Harry Met Sally. I mean, he's made some classics, So when I heard this was really random. I forgot about Spinal Tap. He did Spinal Tap.
Yep.
So this was really random. This was really, really random. I'm like, what the hell? Oh wow. Okay, that's crazy. Did he just make Spinal Tap 2 this year?
I believe so.
That's crazy.
Because I've been seeing him going around like in New York and stuff with the Spinal Tap T-shirt and hat, like promoting the film still. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks.
It's heartbreaking,
Yeah.
dude. We've been getting a lot of
rest
deaths
in peace
this year. Rest in peace. We've been a lot of deaths in this industry this year, dude. A lot that have just kind of come out of nowhere, and I don't know, man. It's humbling in a way. It makes you, I don't want to say question your own mortality, but like it makes you sit and think about this kind of stuff for a minute, It makes you think about the work you put into the world, and not necessarily like a legacy that you're leaving behind, but just what kind of impact you're leaving behind on those who have watched your work, consumed it, or even just had a conversation about them with. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this one sucks, dude. Rest in peace. That's all the news I had to cover for this week. I just want us to go ahead and give our thoughts and opinions on that one for sure. As far as Galaxy of Film announcements goes, we do have one little piece. We have a film that I directed called Of Books and Bullets, which is available now. This film was a part of a 48-hour film challenge. Now it's out from its festival run. You guys can enjoy this film to its completion now. This final cut of the film concludes some new coloring touch-ups by regular colorist Isaiah Terry, and also some new music completely done by Tyler, which is good to get him back in the recording booth. It's been a minute since that's happened, actually. So, yeah, fun little comedy flick. But I can't wait for you guys to see my next film. Holy shit. Would You Like Fries With That is going to be a masterpiece, dude. I cannot wait for everyone to see it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, dude. I'm looking forward to it. But for listeners, we're going to go ahead and take a quick little break. We're going to go over our Stream of the Week brought to you by Will this week. And when we come back, we have a bunch of people joining us to go ahead and start talking about the good old Wizard of Oz, bro. So we'll be right back, guys.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey everyone, it's Will here, giving you this edition of Stream of the Week. Today I want to talk about Netflix's recently released Frankenstein film, directed by the monster master himself, Guillermo del Toro. First off, the film looks absolutely phenomenal. In a cinema landscape where studios seem to have forgotten how to properly light and color correct their films, Frankenstein stands out as a vibrant yet melancholic tapestry of gothic splendor, reminding Hollywood how a drab color palette doesn't inherently make a film feel realistic or modern. Enhancing the excellent visuals are the equally stellar performances by Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, and Mia Goth, who bring a fresh interpretation to their classic roles that have been played by many others before them. At the heart of this film is the tragic conflict between Isaac's Dr. Frankenstein and Elordi's monster, which leads to an emotional finale that separates itself from the original novel and other adaptations. This is my favorite version of Frankenstein since Bride of Frankenstein from all the way back in the 1930s. It's a great watch, and I highly recommend it.
Our rating system is inspired by the planets from the Star Wars films. From highest to lowest, this is how we do our rankings. Number 5.
Coruscant. The entire planet is one big city.
Number 4.
Bespin. We're pretty far, but I think we can make it.
Number 3.
Hold me like you did by the lake on Naboo.
Number 2.
Set your course for the Hoth system.
And lastly, number 1.
Back to Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Alright guys, we're back from our break. Now Dakari, before we go ahead and start diving into our 2 films for this week, we need to go ahead and introduce some very special guest stars. And also need to go ahead and reintroduce someone who just happens to, never leave us alone. And that's Brandon Messina right over here. I'm just all jokes here, but welcome back, Brandon. How you doing, bro?
Great. I'm actually doing great right now. It's about, what does it say? Yeah, about 20 degrees in Michigan. So It's a bunch of snow and ice just all over my house. So I've just been trying to survive that the last couple days. I think when we're recording this, we had like negative wind chills a couple days ago. So that's been fun.
God, dude.
Yeah, wow. But other than that, I've been great. I've actually, I don't know the last time I've been on here. I think it was for that. I think it was for Waterboy.
For our Galaxy Film Live, talking to Sandler.
Yeah. So since then, I don't know if I've talked about this since then, but I've gotten more and more into comic book reading, like you and Dakari. So that's been great. I've been diving into like the DC stuff, a little bit of the Absolute universe, So that's been actually real neat to kind of like dive that in. I haven't really read comics since I was a wee kid, so it's been great to just go back into that. And with the holiday season, it's I don't know. I feel like more and more as I get older, I'm starting to feel more like Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm just trying to save as much money as possible and just like, but capitalism, during the holiday season.
God, dude, gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I feel on that, dude. Obviously, we have the group chat. We're always texting every Wednesday morning about what we purchase at the comic shop. It's been a great time to be a comic book fan again, dude. It's been weird, like just like with you, bro.
Especially DC.
Yeah, bro. And just like with you, like I haven't picked up or read anything in probably like 10 years for DC. So like, I don't know. It's just universally a good fucking time to be a comic book reader again. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I want to go ahead and reintroduce someone else to the podcast this week. She was on here a few weeks ago as we were wrapping up Monster Mayhem. Welcome back, Shannon. How's it going?
Hey, I got my.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah, so I'm ready for
Nice.
this. I'm
That's
obsessed.
cool.
I'm obsessed with Wicked. So I'm really excited to be on this podcast because I was going to do last year's Wicked podcast episode and then I didn't. So this is like retribution. Like I get to finally talk because I have been wanting to talk about this movie so much. So I'm really, really excited for this episode.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited to dive in.
Hell yeah. I love the energy coming in strong with this one, dude. Coming in strong. And I know we have another super fan here of the Wicked films. I want to go ahead and introduce because he's making his podcast debut with us. But if you are one of our followers of our films, of our videos, any of our other stuff going on at Galaxy of Film, you are familiar with this dude. He's the lead of our short film Femme Fatale, as of course Cameron Steele. How's it going, bro?
Hey, it's going good. Very excited. Also a little nervous, but I'm very excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
Can't wait to talk about Wicked and The Wiz.
Hell yeah.
Seeing the Broadway play
Oh shit.
for The
Okay.
Wiz.
I didn't realize that. That's
And it was
cool.
a fun topic.
Hell yeah. We got a good mix here this week, Dakar. We got some good fans coming in for some Wicked love. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are going to hate me this episode.
Sorry. Oh man, he's so excited.
Oh, no.
Only the best here at Galaxy at Film.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah,
Aw.
as we mentioned earlier this episode, last year, Brandon, you recorded an episode for the first Wicked film and also discussing
I
the
did.
original Wizard of Oz. I believe we were filming or something during that time, and that's why we kind of had you film that week because it was like November-ish, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, it was right around the same time when the Wicked Part 2 came out.
You know what?
So-
I think we were shooting Man of the House. I think it was that week, funny enough, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was November.
That sounds about the right timeline. Yes. Yeah.
Dang, weird enough, dude. Yeah. So this episode, we're of course discussing the 78, I believe the Wiz came out, Dakari.
Yeah, 70.
Yeah, we're discussing the 1978 film The Wiz. We've talked about this one off and on here in the podcast. Dakari, you kind of gave some information on this last week during the podcast.
Yeah.
That of course we're gonna go over again during this one. But yeah, and of course we're discussing the new film Wicked for Good. So kind of a perfect pairing, just like last year with you, Brandon. We get our Wizard of Oz kind of recap with The Wiz, and prepping us up for this Wicked duo films we have going on here. And also a potential franchise, now that we've heard some stuff from higher-ups at Warner Brothers, but who knows what that's looking like with the whole Netflix situation these days. I'm sure some of our thoughts will come out about that too as we're discussing Wicked 2. But let's go ahead and dive into The Wiz first and foremost, dude. Dakari, I'm going to go ahead and not only have you give the recap for this film, but also if you want to go ahead and give us a tidbit of information again for our listeners who didn't turn into last week's episode.
Sure, I'll start with the recap. So pretty much this is a modern, this is an urban adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, not just the movie, but the story itself. It is an urban adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, and this version specifically, it is based off of a Broadway play, but with this specific version of the story, it has an all black cast,
Mhm.
right? And the same how it was on Broadway is the same how it was in the film with the continuity of black cast. This film stars Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, yes. Um, Diana Ross plays Dorothy. Michael Jackson plays the Scarecrow. Ted Ross plays the Lion, and Nipsey Russell plays the Tin Man. And it's pretty much beat for beat the same, structure, the same story, the same narrative as The Wizard of Oz. It's pretty much what you'd expect for an adaptation of
Mhm.
said source material, but it is far different and it is far more distinguished because of how it is approached.
Yeah.
This is not traditional in the slightest, especially when it comes to aesthetics. It's modern in almost every single way, and that's pretty much the recap of The Wiz.
Yeah, dude. Do you want to go ahead and follow it up or no? You got another piece you're not
Yeah, I'll
leading with,
follow
man.
up.
Go for it.
Um, yeah, I'll follow up. So, the original run on Broadway for The Wiz was 1975.
Mm.
I think they had their
Oh
first.
wow.
I think that 1975 Broadway. That's where it started. That's where the Wiz came from. Um, I want to say like a year or two before that. That's when they had the first show, so they could test it out. And then when it was successful, around that time they brought it to Broadway, in the year after '75.
Mhm.
So fun fact about the Broadway show in particular, the production designer and well, not the production designer, the costume designer and director, Jeffrey Holder is my cousin.
Hell yeah, dude.
No shit,
Shut up.
really?
That's cool. That's
That's
so
dope.
cool.
Yeah,
I have a
man.
little fun fact, but go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, he's my cousin. Not only is he known for The Wiz, but he's been in some pretty iconic films
Mhm.
um throughout his career. Like he played Baron Samedi in Live and Let Die. Roger Moore's first James Bond movie. Yeah, he played Baron Samedi in that. In the original Annie, he played Punjab. And I believe he plays a side character in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. He's done a lot of different things throughout, the entertainment industry. So, yeah.
My favorite role of
Fun
his,
fact.
dude, is the narrator from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Still, that's like my favorite little fun
Yeah, yeah,
fact you
yeah,
dropped on
yeah.
He's
us.
a writer too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Damn.
was. He's the deep voice that you hear in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's sick.
That's so cool.
That's my little
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
fun fact you dropped on us, dude. Funny, and I think I talked to you about this specifically, but for listeners who aren't aware, and it works out because this is such a pro film episode with Shannon and Cam here. My film, there's this character, the narrator, played by Nigel Morgan, and that's directly inspired by that performance from Willy Wonka, dude. I can't believe that connection. It's just so fucking golden, truly.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
So,
crazy.
yeah. And Shannon, I believe you also had a little fun fact you said, right?
Right. So recently there
Mm.
was a revival of The Wiz on Broadway.
Mm.
So the actor that played the Tin Man in the revival, Philip Johnson Richardson, years ago when I was in high school, on a trip to New York to see my first Broadway show ever for
Mhm.
free. And he was in that group of people. Like we
Oh
all
wow.
got to experience our first Broadway show together, and then he just skyrocketed. So I
Hell
know
yeah.
he's
Nice.
doing great. I keep up with him. But it's just like it's so cool because it's like I got to be in the room with him and a bunch of other people that love theater and never got the chance to experience a Broadway show for the first time.
Mm.
And then we were all sitting and watching. I think we went to see Matilda and Pippin.
That's cool.
Pippin was by far like one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen. But that was my little tidbit because like I saw the Wiz rival was coming and they announced that he was going to be the Tin Man, and I was like, that okay, Go you.
Right.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
That's fucking sick, dude.
That's fun.
We got some cool little connections this episode to The Wiz as well. I wasn't expecting all that. Okay. And Cam, you mentioned you.
But sure.
Hell yeah, I mean, Cam, you said you saw this on Broadway, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And Brandon, did you ever consume The Wiz prior to this episode?
I have not actually. Like before we started shooting, this was actually the first time I've ever seen The Wiz. So I would definitely give my thoughts about it.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm right in the same boat with you. I have never realized, for whatever reason, that Michael Jackson's "Ease on Down the Road" was a part of The Wiz. I could not tell you how many times.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many times I played that in the car, dude, and just have not realized it's from the fucking Wiz. So yeah. First time watch, nice. I'd seen always like chunks of this thing on TV randomly, but it's always one of those bits where like it's already halfway through it or 3/4 of the way through it. I'm not trying to start it during that kind of time slot. But also like we never gave our thoughts on the original Wizard of Oz, just you, Brandon. I don't know about you, but like to me, the Wizard of Oz was like beaten into us during like elementary school and middle school. Like
I don't know about that for me, but I get it.
Nah, dude, we were watching it 3-4 times a school year in some of these classes. Like,
oh wow,
it was just consistently replayed nonstop. So like, The Wizard of Oz to me has always been one of those things that I respect more than I enjoy at this point, just because I've had to consume so much of it. And like the most unideal circumstances too, you know, like I don't think I've ever watched The Wizard of Oz from start to finish in like the comfort of my own home, to be honest with you. Like it's always been either at someone's house or it's on TV randomly somewhere or the school was putting it on. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of danced around The Wiz, if you will, like seeing parts of it, being aware of its significance and its impact on culture, and just never kind of give it a shot until this episode. But Decoy, like you mentioned, it's basically beat for beat, just a retelling of the original story of The Wizard of Oz. So let's go ahead and dive into our thoughts on this piece. Brandon, I'm going to put you up first for this one, just because you're also the oddball out of this one to kind of give us our first opinions on this.
Yeah, so The Wiz, I definitely thought it was a decent movie. Definitely the music is the highlight of the film. If you all know, the kind of the music producer of all this was Quincy Jones, who all of you might know is the one who basically made Michael Jackson's career, like in his prime. Like he helped make Michael Jackson's career. Yeah, from what's his 70s album called again? Off the Wall. Off the Wall, and then of course Thriller, and then Bad, of course, like the trilogy, like probably the greatest trilogy of music in history, for sure. So yeah, the music was definitely a bop for the most part. I mean, Ease on Down the Road's still catchy. I mean, like, how can you not hate that? How can you hate that song? I don't know. It's such a bop to listen to, like. While you're watching the movie, if you're not watching the movie, just have it on in the car or just listening to it just on your own. It's a great song. And I do appreciate some of the cinematography in this movie. Just for a lot of the from a wide scale point.
Sure.
A lot of the cinematography is it's visually stunning to look at. And I think that really plays a part in set design too. I think some of the set design is really great in this. I think especially with some of the Emerald City scenes, and just the and really a lot of the choreography. I think the cinematography shines when those dance sequences come on the screen. And Diana Ross, I think, was okay. Like, obviously she's not an actress per se, but I think she did a decent job as Dorothy. I mean, definitely with the singing performances in this, I think she does a great job in that. Michael Jackson really stood out to me as like both as an actor and a performer. Like he really shines, I think. I don't want to say above everybody, but like he definitely is the highlight of the movie for me. And I think it's a damn shame that he only gets one song dedicated to himself in this movie. Just like from hindsight, like just from where his career is going a year or two from now when this movie came out, like it's crazy how he only gets one song, and he's on the stake as a scarecrow, so we don't even get to see him dance in that scene. So I'm kind of bummed out for that when that part came on. But other than that, I think the Cowardly Lion too, I think was really great too. I think it's such an over the top performance, but I think it's a needed like character to be like this super charismatic kind of character. And I think Ted Ross really like he gives it that oomph of the Cowardly Lion in this, and he's a great his songs are great too in that one. Nipsey Russell, it's kind of weird for me how he's not much of a singer, and like he gets some of it's more talk sceney, I guess, like which is, I mean, not my go-to way of singing, but it definitely has a place in music history and definitely movie musicals. Like it definitely has a place in it for sure, but it's not my cup of tea for the most part. And I don't know, some of his reactions too when he's crying is it kind of takes it out for me too. I don't know, like that's, I don't know, that's just my part. And then the story was, yeah, like you said, it was mostly just beat for beat the original story. And I don't know, some of the scenes go a little bit too long from my perspective. Especially with the Emerald City scenes, I think it could be like, I don't know, could be taken down a couple minutes for me personally.
Okay.
And I don't know, the pacing was a little, I think the pacing could have been taken out, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and I think the story would have been better off with it.
Okay.
But I don't know, I still got into most of what was happening with this too. I mean, for sure, like this is definitely like culturally, this is an important film. Don't get me wrong. But I do think like it's not a perfect film to me, but I'll just kind of leave my thoughts there for sure. Yeah, it was a decent movie for me.
Okay. Like I said before, dude, I've always been kind of just like burnt out in Wizard of Oz. It felt like Muppets Wizard of Oz is my least favorite Muppet adaptation. We were talking about that off fire before we started the podcast. But yeah, The Wiz, dude, I think is my favorite version of this story for sure.
Okay.
And what really see the part about Wizard of Oz that I respect is obviously it's, you know, the first like major color film, the Technicolor aspect to it, and we have that incredible sequence where we have like the door opens and we get the color reveal. That's something you'll see in a different film going forward. Little hint to our listeners, but it's interesting with The Wiz because we're not relying on this wow factor for coming out during this time period. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the first film to do something like this, so we aren't crutching on that. Like I feel like the original Wizard of Oz kind of does. What really took me back about The Wiz was the set design more than anything. I fell in love with how this movie looks, dude. Having Oz basically be like New York is incredible. You know, the Yellow Brick Road going over like the Brooklyn Bridge for the Ease on Down the Road sequence is awesome. You talked a little bit about the cinematography earlier, Brandon, and I love the lingering of certain shots. Like that whole bridge Ease on Down the Road shot is like two different shots. We're just zooming in and cutting back and forth in post. Yeah. And it works well, you know. What really had me locked in from the start, though, was this film's version of Munchkinland, which is like this metal playground area, which is, it reminded me almost, I've used this film several times as an example, but it almost reminded me a little bit of like the Super Mario Brothers film. It kind of had like a neo-noir kind of taste to it. Yeah, this film really caught me by surprise with how much I liked this. Emerald City's gorgeous in this. It's such a great take on this. I love the character designs for these characters too. I know it sounds kind of odd, and we'll kind of dive into that with Wicked as well. But genuinely, like it's a simple change, and it works perfectly for this. I think the Tin Man looks incredible specifically. You know, he almost has kind of like a Jim Henson kind of feel to his costume. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. One thing we didn't talk about yet that I'm hoping gets brought up a little bit or later on in this episode is Richard Pryor's performance as the Wiz. I didn't look at the cast list before watching this movie, so when we get the reveal, that caught me off guard and was just a laugh factor in its own. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, dude. I really do, and I also really love the last shot. Like, one of the things I feel like that disconnects me so much from The Wizard of Oz is like we have this huge emphasis. We got to get back to Kansas. Got to get back to Kansas. We're on this big adventure to get back to there. But when we're establishing the home of Kansas, we don't see much of it. And I understand it's not the point of that film. We're only seeing like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory shack, basically, that the whole fucking family lives in, right? We see that, and at the very end, she wakes up, and we're only in her bedroom at that point. Compared to The Wiz, we're opening of this like huge like musical sequence during a family feast. We're seeing all the family members into this home. We're really getting to sit with this for about 10 or 15 minutes or so. And we get this beautiful ending shot where like Dorothy just walks inside. We don't have the kind of corny wake up moment. We just get the match cut of the slippers clicking. She's there on the streets in New York, and she's back home going inside. And I don't know, this movie is a simpler version of The Wizard of Oz when it comes to like certain technical aspects, and it really works in its favor, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think this is the best version of The Wizard of Oz story. Going forward, you know, and I don't watch The Wizard of Oz yearly. It's not in my rotation. You know, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched that movie, so I don't know when the next time I'll watch The Wiz will be. But whenever I have like an itch for the storyline, it'll be The Wiz that gets to watch over The Wizard of Oz for sure. Dakari, let's hear some of your thoughts on this classic film.
Of course. So The Wiz definitely was my introduction to my actual initial introduction, you know, as far as watching movies is concerned, to the story, you know, because I was always aware of the Wizard of Oz story, but I never really watched any movies or adaptations. So The Wiz was the actual first movie that I sat down and watched, you know, that is an adaptation of that. So I have a lot of nostalgia with this one for that very reason. Um, but around the same time I watched The Wiz, I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, can you find me a copy of The Wizard of Oz? I'm interested to see how, you know, because how different is it compared to The Wiz, you know? So, yeah, I ended up watching The Wizard of Oz around that same time too, because I never really seen it at that point. I was probably maybe 5 or 6 years old. But yeah, they're the same thing, but they're two different movies. And even though I love The Wizard of Oz, I always kept going back to The Wiz. I just always kept going back to The Wiz, you know, and for obvious reasons, but still, like I watched that one the most. As much as I love The Wizard of Oz, that's the one version that I always go back and watch.
Okay.
Because like you said, Max, it's just so simple. It's so simple. Like there's literally like, I mean, yeah, you can have undertones in your story, but as long as you follow the major plot points within the story, then you got you know, you've done your job for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it even more special because this is an adaptation of an adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it stands out more because it's modernized in that specific fashion. You know what I'm saying? So not only is it good that it's simple, but it's good that it's simple with a modern aesthetic to it. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it stand out so much. And that's what makes it watchable too. You know, down to the casting, down to the cinematography, the costume design even, you know, specifically the casting. I mean, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, two of the biggest names in Motown and music, period, at that point. And then you bring in Quincy Jones to help polish the music, because Quincy Jones, of course, didn't originally come up with these themes. It was Charlie Smalls. He was the original composer and writer of the music for The Wiz, i.e. Broadway. So we Quincy Jones and bring him along to polish it. It's just like you hear The Wiz on the radio more than usual now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just everything about this movie is like the like personification of pop culture at its finest, because it's one of the first film adaptations to successfully display and showcase a modern incarnation of classic literature.
Yeah.
And do it successfully, even though it flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it flopped, if you watch the film, it was famously done. It was famously done, and I feel like that's why we watched the Wiz so much more than compared to the Wizard of Oz, because the Wizard of Oz, even though we know, is more responsible for specific things when it comes to the movies. Period. The Wiz is responsible for a lot of things when it comes to the modernization of the film industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, dude. Beautifully
So
put.
I believe. Yeah, so I believe The Wiz is important for that specific reason. I have a lot of fond memories watching this. I mean, Ease on Down the Road, of course, is one of the best songs, but Me No Lion by Ted Ross might be one of, if not my favorite.
I dug that one too.
Good pick. Good pick.
Like, that's one of the catchiest songs. And Richard Pryor, when I first saw it, it caught me off guard. It still catches me off guard, because just like, what are you doing here? But it makes it works. You know what I'm saying?
Here,
because
Richard Pryor.
It's literally, what are you doing here? And that's what their reaction was. So it makes sense.
You say the
It
same
makes
thing
sense.
about Superman 3.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing here, Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Richard Pryor's in Superman 3?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Richard Pryor's in Superman 3. In fact, he's the main character of Superman 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's the main character of Superman 3. It's not even about Superman.
Oh, God, dude. I gotta watch the rest of those Superman movies at some point. Jeez. But beautifully put, though, Dakar. Beautifully put.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just beautiful stuff. Beautiful songs that I still go back and listen to this day. I still need to get the soundtrack for it on vinyl.
I'm surprised you don't have it already. That's crazy.
I'm surprised I don't have it already either. Like, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah, because you have a ton of soundtracks, especially, dude. Like, you're always, like, the soundtrack guy when it comes to vinyl collecting, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I try. I mean, there's some stuff in there that I forget that I even have.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. Oh, Cam, let's hear your thoughts on the Wiz, man. Was this your first time watching this? I'm assuming you watched this earlier since you watched this on Broadway, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've also watched the movie when I was a kid as well.
Okay, cool.
And it's also been my go-to, like, Wizard of Oz movie.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this one?
I think it's very fun. Love the casting of Diana Ross and Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Love the music, absolutely.
Okay.
Ease on Down the Road being one of my favorites, and my second favorite being Everybody Rejoice.
Okay.
Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Just love that ensemble.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Feeling.
Any other moments that stand out to you when you look back on this film?
Definitely the melting of the Wicked Witch.
Okay. That's a solid one for this one, too.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about the Wicked Witch melting, of course, with Wicked 2. Spoiler alert. But, yeah, that's a good pick for this one, dude. That's a good pick. Do you have any favorite characters for this one specifically?
I think the Scarecrow, simply because he's Michael Jackson.
It's kind of hard not to pick that, yeah. I feel you.
I just love how it just feels like he was so dedicated to this movie. Like, he just gives it...
Oh, my God.
He gives it all the energy.
That's just like, Michael in general, though, dude, of, like, everything he's done.
That's what I was going to say, too.
I know, but, like, him not being, like... Him not just being, like, an actor, per se. Like, I feel like he really pushed himself to, like, embrace this character, in a way. Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. Oh,
yeah, man. Michael Jackson should have been in more movies, if you ask me.
Yeah, we've only had a chance to talk about one other Michael Jackson movie on this podcast so far, which is crazy. Because it's a short film at that too, and it's the greatest short film of all time. I'll stand by that to the day I die, dude. I love making
Thriller.
No, dude, I'm not talking about Thriller.
No, not Thriller.
I mean, that's a short film.
I enjoy making short films.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very proud of my short films. Don't get me wrong, but like, there's no short film I could ever make that could anywhere come close to compare to Captain EO, dude. That movie is fucking incredible.
Oh my god.
Like,
oh my.
It was such an honor to have Terry Hardin Jackson come on the show and talk about her experience working with Michael in that movie. For our listeners who are not aware of what Captain EO is, if this is your first time hearing this is a film that Disney produced and commissioned in the 90s for Disney World. It was an all 3D short film, about 15 minutes long. It's written by George Lucas, creator of Star Wars. We're using leftover aliens from Return of the Jedi and the Ewok films. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola of The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. And of course stars the one and only Michael Jackson. Captain EO is just a masterpiece, dude. You could only watch it for the longest time.
What an interesting trio.
I know, dude. It works. It's so good. Especially if you're a Max Rebo fan. I won't say anything else, but if you like Max Rebo, there's a little guy. Just watch Captain EO. It's so good. But Shannon, let's hear your thoughts on The Wiz, reeling back into that film.
Right. So I watched this film a lot when I was a kid as well.
Okay.
And I loved it. I even did a production of it.
Oh, cool.
When I was like in high school.
No, it wasn't cool.
But the movie was really fun from what I remember. And I love Diana Ross in that movie. I love Michael in that movie. I thought the costumes were it screams 70s. The whole thing, just the aesthetic from the set to the costume design to Brandon, the point you were making about the pacing. I feel like that's pretty like consistent across a lot of films from that era. Like there's definitely some films that I have watched from the 70s where it's like, okay, this whole scene could have been cut like by 5 minutes, or this could have been cut by like 2 minutes, because it seems to drag on. I want to also make another point too, that taking a Broadway musical and turning it into a movie is a feat of its own, and there are not very many successful Broadway adaptations to film.
Sure.
And especially what Dakari was saying, this is an adaptation of an adaptation. It's more of a adaptation, because we got Wiz based off the Broadway musical, which is based off of the original story of The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
So there's the challenges that come with it, because you're transitioning from a musical to a film, is you've got to find a way to carry the story. And that's something that John M. Chu talks about too, when he's talking about Wicked, and how it was a huge undertaking, because you don't want to disappoint the audience. They know exactly what they're expecting, know the story. How are you going to make it translate on camera? So, again, not very many filmmakers can successfully pull off taking a Broadway musical and bringing it to the screen.
Sure.
It's really, really hard to appease every person that loves the original work. But I feel like this was done really well. It's the New York City being the setting is so perfect, just based on how this adaptation is created, or why, like how it was meant to be created. I really love, and I still think about Ease on Down the Road, and that scene of them going up the Brooklyn Bridge, Yellow Brick Road. But her last number, Home, and it's just her.
With that long...
That was actually a great one too. I love that one too.
Beautiful. And I think it was Lena Horne was the good witch.
Lena Horne. Yes.
Oh, rest in peace. But that was also beautiful too.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, so I love this movie. It's been a while since I've watched it, and I have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, but I watched it so many times when I was a kid. Like I just loved it. I loved I loved the aesthetic of it. I loved the bright costume pieces, and like it's also it's not it's not flashy. Very fitting for the aesthetic that they're going for, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Um, so I think this is an excellent film, and now that we're talking about it, I really want to go watch it again. Like I want to sit and I want to watch it one more time
Hell
or
yeah.
two more times. Oh.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Let's go and dive into our ratings for The Wiz. Dakari, I'm gonna put you up first with this one, just because you have the deepest connection to this film, with the family ties to it. So where are you at with The Wiz?
Yeah, I still think that this is a great film. The older I've gotten, the more I have realized that there are some aspects of it that have not aged particularly too well. Like some of the humor, like Brandon was saying, some of the humor is kind of it's not all bad, but I mean there's some good moments in it humor wise, but then there's some moments in it was just okay, I don't know about that, but there's some other moments humor wise that are like were actually genuinely funny, but
Mm-hmm.
some of it is dated. And then I do feel like it does drag a tad bit, especially near the end. When we get to the Wicked Witch of the West and all that. What's her name? Eveline. Yeah, her name's Eveline in this. When we get to Eveline, I feel like that's where it does kind of drag.
Fair
But
enough.
every everything else, like everything else for me, still works perfectly to this very day. Um, everybody does an excellent job in their roles, especially the main four actors,
Mm-hmm.
specifically Michael Jackson. But my favorite is probably I gotta say Ted Ross as the lion. I mean his energy and his singing abilities are just they were so fitting for this version of the character. It worked so well because
Mhm.
he was able to put up that charismatic front, but when it was time for him to, step up, he got rid of that charismatic front so quickly and became such a baby. It's just like the performance was
You
just
can turn
so
on like
good.
that, and it's great.
Exactly. This was just so good. This was perfect. That's probably my favorite performance in this movie is Ted Ross. Now that I
Okay.
think about it, and he had some of the best songs too. Um, but yeah, like to this day, I watch this movie more than I watch The Wizard of Oz because it is so rewatchable. It is so simple, and it's just so fun. It's just so fun. Like every set piece is so like notable. Like even the Scarecrow set piece is notable because you got some really like you got architecture in the background and that makes it stand out. You know what I'm saying? Like the Emerald City, the Munchkin Land. What was it called? It wasn't Munchkin Land. Oh, it was Munchkin Land. You're in Munchkin Land, the indivisible land of Oz. Yeah, it was Munchkin Land for sure. Yeah, just all the set pieces were beautiful, man. And I feel like I said, as much as I love The Wizard of Oz, I always go back to this. I always watch this the most because I feel like, this adaptation is the perfect modernization of it, of The Wizard of Oz. Um, yeah. We doing ratings?
Yeah, go for it, dude.
Okay, yeah, I'm giving this a best spin.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm not far behind you,
Yeah.
dude. For me, this isn't a boo
Yeah.
on the way to Bespin.
Mm.
And I think my only gripes with The Wiz are just in general with The Wizard of Oz because it's just been so beaten to me like that, the storyline of it in general. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
I do feel The Wiz, the beat for beat, the same way I do The Wizard of Oz. And that's not The Wiz's fault per se. You know, it's the story at core. But for me, it's just one of those things where I take note of it. I feel when moments drag on for sure because of that. And it's not something like this story isn't something I crave to go back to and rewatch constantly. You know what I'm saying? Like I've now found the new definitive version of the story being told for me to go back to whenever I do want to watch it. But like I don't know if I'm gonna be watching The Wiz once a year, twice a year kind of thing. You know, it's not like it's like a Star Wars film or anything like that for me where I feel like I have to constantly rewatch this or I'm just aching to, if that makes sense. But overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this. I'm surprised it took me so long to watch this, especially because like I've known about The Wiz since I was, like I was 8 when Michael died. I was 8 when Michael died, and I've known about this since I was like 9-10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I found out about this movie existing right around the time I watched This Is It for the first time in theaters. And I don't know. I wish I watched this a lot sooner, dude. I wish I watched this before those teachers had a chance to bring in that fucking Roland, the CRTV with the VHS player built into it, and then just Clockwork Orange me for that movie.
Classic.
But yeah, this is an Naboo on the way to Bespin. I'm hoping when I'm not so ozzed out, I'll have a chance to rewatch this and enjoy it even more, though. But let's go ahead and move on. Cam, I'm putting you up next for your rating for The Wiz. So where are you at for this one?
Definitely a Bespin.
Okay. What justify your reason? Let's hear the reasoning for it.
I just love it. It's like a childhood film for me.
Okay.
Seeing it on Broadway, seeing even the revival at the Depop.
That is cool, dude.
And I love the songs, especially Brand New Day.
So good. I wish I saw this at DPAC, dude. Funny enough, I remember my first time even being aware of what Wicked was because DPAC had like a massive banner for it at one point, like 2011. I had no clue what this story was until then. So, yeah, beautifully put, man. I'm glad you enjoyed this film. Shannon, where are you at for your final comments and ratings for The Wiz?
I'm gonna give it a Bespin as well.
Cool.
It's a great film, great music, cast is superb. Not the best movie musical to exist. I'll give it that. There's worse. There's way worse. Cats.
There's way worse.
But there's way worse. But this is not. It is not the best movie musical that I have seen. I'm sorry, but Wicked is going to take the cake for me.
Okay.
That's understandable.
We'll get into that more, but like, I do love this movie, and it has had an influence on my childhood for sure. Not the best one, but it's up there. It's up there, and it's sad that it didn't really have a lot of success. Because I feel like now it's more of like a cult classic. I think it didn't quite catch on until much later, I feel. Because now, like, I especially with the revival, it's like, oh, people really love this musical and they want to see more of it. So that says something. That's my rating for this one.
I want a Wiz adaptation of Wicked, dude. That's what I fucking want.
Ooh.
Yeah,
how would that work, though?
Just me making a joke, dude. I don't fucking want that.
Like, dude, come on, bro.
Brandon, let's see your final comments and ratings for The Wiz.
Lord, I was gonna say, have y'all read the book?
Oh no.
This might be a little low for all you guys, but I will give it a Naboo for my rating.
Okay.
Like I said, I do enjoy the music. I think it is definitely like probably one of the two highlights with that and Michael Jackson's performance overall. And also, I will include Ted Ross as the Lion. I think he stood out too for me as well. And I think now thinking about it, I think I appreciate a lot more of the set design rather than like the story per se, because I think the set design just adds so much more character to the movie than the story itself. Because I mean, like, it's a story we all know by heart at this point. Like all of us do. I will agree with Shannon. It's not the best movie musical that I've seen. I will also put my stamp on. I would say Wicked is definitely up there, part one, for me. But I would say my favorite movie musical is the 2000 Hairspray movie. I think that is a perfect movie musical.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
It's definitely underrated. Definitely underrated movie. Not a lot of people talk about that one with Zac Efron, Nikki Blonsky. I think James Marsden's in the movie.
Yeah, dude, I
Queen
forgot
Latifah's
about
in the
that
movie,
movie.
too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That movie actually kind of slaps. Like it works as a movie and a musical. Like I think it's a perfect.
It does.
I think it's a perfect movie musical in my opinion. But going back to The Wiz, but yeah, I like the set design more than the actual story. I think the story I realize has a couple. It's flawed in my opinion. Like, first of all, like why is there a fire alarm in the Wicked Witch's warehouse when you know she's like she melts in water? So I think that's a flaw in the workspace. I think something like that. I don't know why.
Maybe maybe they were too dumb to realize it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll get to dumb munchkins. Don't get me wrong. In Wicked for good.
God, dude.
But that too, and then I don't know why there's a Twister in urban New York. I don't. Maybe I'm just thinking too much of it.
Why was there a Twister in Kansas?
Mike
Anyway,
drop.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I do think this movie is, like I said, I think it's definitely very important to Black culture. I think especially at the time during the 70s, I think it was of huge importance, of just where, this is like post civil rights era. So I think this movie kind of works like around that time when I think it was like at its peak probably of like in that it was in an interesting space of like all that going on. But yeah, I think it was a decent performances all around. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that thought. Actually.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and waste no time and start diving into Wicked for Good. Go ahead.
Before we get into that, I meant to make some points about the Wiz right quick.
Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, I actually got a chance to go to what was it? I think the 45th anniversary. Is it the 45th anniversary of the Wiz?
Don't ask me to do math, dude. Don't ask me to do math.
I don't know. But it was
something like
that. It was a re-release. Yeah, it was a re-release screening of The Wiz, and it was the new 4K restoration, and I went to go check that out and see that at my local Regal. And this version in particular, compared to what I used to watch on DVD, like it visually and sonically is different, because not only do you get a more refined picture, of course, but it actually put the sound materials through Dolby Atmos, so you could hear like a lot of the parts in the music that you haven't heard before and shit. It's wild. It's interesting for sure.
I will stand by that, Dakari, because I watched it on my 4K TV too. For this episode, and I will tell you, like the quality, it hits in some scenes, like especially like I talked about with some of those like widescreen or like those establishing kind of shots that the camera does. Like the 4K on that is very visually stunning.
Oh man, but yes, track that down whenever y'all get a chance.
Okay, dude. I'm assuming that's the same version that Criterion's using, right? Or something similar?
It has to be. It has to be.
Whew. Let's go and dive into Wicked for Good. This is a sequel to Wicked that came out last year. I was working at the movie theater. I was managing the Regal. Cam was one of my employees at the Regal there. We got fucked so hard working there for Wicked. So the entire time I worked there, I refused to see this movie because, like, we had no inventory. We had so many angry guests. We had no popcorn. Like, it was just fucking nuts, dude.
No.
The two movies that just
not
absolutely
the popcorn.
the two movies that just destroyed us last year were Inside Out 2 and Wicked. And after Inside Out 2, I just was not dealing with it. So I didn't watch Wicked in theaters. I watched this morning, actually, before this podcast. And I also just saw Wicked 2 right before I started recording this episode with you guys. So yeah, we didn't give our thoughts on this one because Brandon did the episode last year on it. Totally cool. We'll kind of give our thoughts as a small recap as we're talking about Wicked 2. But yeah, Wicked 2 picks right back up. It's a couple years later. The Yellow Brick Road is now built. Emerald City is flourishing. We got Glinda, who's chilling at the Emerald City Castle. She's the Good Witch now. She's this kind of icon, if you will, for the people of Oz to believe in good. Because now we have an established enemy. We have a Wicked Witch of the West that we kind of have to blame our problems on. Yeah, and this whole time Glinda is a phony. They're just building her up to be this whole show for the people because she's not the hero they deserve, but she's the hero they need. If we want to go ahead and quote some Batman with it too.
Oh God.
So we get this back and forth where Elfie's like, "Yo, I want to make a difference. I want to expose the wizard for being a phony." She's coming through. Her plans get foiled. Glinda's like, "Yo, I'll come talk to the wizard. Let's all just chill out, have a meeting. Let's all gather around the campfire and sing a little tune about this, and all be good." So Elfie's like, "You know what? I got you, G." So they go ahead. They have a meeting with the wizard, who I did not realize, for whatever fucking reason, is Jeff Goldblum is the wizard until today. As comical as it was seeing Richard Pryor come out, that was the same experience for me with Jeff Goldblum in this one. So yeah, they'll gather around and have a little meeting. Jeff Goldblum's like, "Yo, we can be friends. We can have fun. We can all party together." And Michelle Yeoh's like, "Yo," well, he said ditto. Glinda's like, "Gee whiz, I'm happy," and does a little fucking hair flip. And as they all prance off to go get ready for the party, Elfie's like, "Yo, what's behind this thing over here?" So she looks over. Wizards caging a bunch of animals. Someone called PETA because we're going to go ahead and let them out. Elfie's like, "Yo, no, that's not happening here, homeboy." She dips out. She's like, "We're going to go ahead and expose your ass all over again." Yeah, and we have this kind of torn sisterhood between Glinda and Elfie in this. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz equivalent of Anakin and Obi-Wan for a little bit, where they're kind of at odds against each other, back and forth.
For a little bit.
Glinda's man's like, "Yo, Glinda, I don't really like you that much anymore. I'm actually going with the homegirl over here instead to go mooch with her." That happens. Elfie's sister, who's in a wheelchair, she's chilling. She's rolling around. She becomes the governor. She's like the Commissioner Gordon of fucking Emerald City. She's dating a dude who doesn't really want her ass, and then he's in love with Glinda, so he's like, "Yo, I'm actually going to go ahead because Glinda's homeboy's splitting. I'm splitting." So then they use the sister as like this big plot to go ahead and separate and further, separate the people from the Wicked Witch of the West, separate Glinda from her, and separate the people of Oz from the situation further. Sister gets killed by the house from Kansas because Michelle Yeoh is like, "I know what will do the trick. Cyclone, Twister." Boom. That, of course, starts the events of The Wizard of Oz and brings that film to our Wicked timeline at that point. So homeboy's mooching off in the distance at this weird, like, bird nest, like, house that she's made. It's cool looking, don't get me wrong, but, like, it looks like Yoda's hut.
A treehouse type of thing.
It looks like Yoda's hut, dude. That's exactly what it looks like to me. She even has, like, the little circle window just chilling out where she can look off in the distance. So they fuck. They're hanging. They're chilling.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, you're not.
Dang, bro, why you
not
put so
wrong.
much emphasis on it, man?
Because, dude, I'll get into it with my thoughts, but they fuck. They're chilling. Then they go their separate ways. And yeah, so Elfie accidentally turned her sister's man into the Tin Man. Then the process of separating some bullshit. Then her man, who was really Glinda's old man, is now the Scarecrow. We see the Cowardly Lion because that was a plot point from the last film. This little lion cub's chilling. Dorothy's in the mix now. Boom, this whole big shit's going off. Shit's hitting the fan. You know, Dorothy's got the slippers going down the yellow brick road. Elfie just wants the slippers back because it's her sister's shoes. We're having this conflict back and forth with Glinda. A whole bunch of musical shit's happening. Whole bunch of back and forth. Whole bunch of back and forth. It should have been like the subtitle of this movie because it's just constant fucking hot potato for plot points. And yeah, we end up coming to our big climax where Glinda and Elfie, they're like, yo, I love you, but we have to do this a certain way. And Elfie's like, don't clear my name. Don't. I got you. I'm out of here, G. And she accepts defeat. She accepts getting melted by Dorothy, basically. And yeah, Glinda then kind of kicks the wizard out of Oz. We get this weird twist where the wizard is Elfie's dad, which is okay. Yeah. Then Glinda's the good witch of the East. No, not good witch of the East. There's already a wicked... Oh, she's the fucking good witch, dude. I was so confused with how many fucking directionals we have here of witches. You know, I forgot we even had a wicked witch of the East until I'm going through these movies, to be honest with you. Oz is living happily ever after. Then we get this little story time as the Munchkins are all celebrating the wicked witches of... Alfie's fucking death. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. They're celebrating her fucking death. They're burning the little stake going on. And then Glinda's like, oh, I have a story to tell you. And we do a little full Megamind round circle of the story being told. Then it's revealed Alfie's alive. Her and the Scarecrow then go to the real world. Is that the North Pole, I guess? They're chilling in the Arctic somewhere.
It looked like the desert. It looked like the
It's a
desert.
desert.
I don't know where they were walking.
That was the desert? I thought that was snow, dude. Okay.
It was
desert.
like white sand. I mean, I definitely like could see, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
They're walking on something.
That we're gonna touch back on that anyways. But yeah, that's Wicked for good, guys. Yeah, and I hope I'm done with this franchise for good after watching these. I hate to say it. Let's go ahead and dive into our thoughts of these two movies. Or excuse me, just the second one. But if you weren't here for the first film's recap initially last year, please give your thoughts real quick on the first Wicked. Dakari, I'm putting you up first for Wicked, man. How are you feeling about the first one? Where are you at with the second one?
Okay, so get a chance to see the first one when it came out.
Okay.
So I made sure, like, before I went to go see Wicked 2, I watched Wicked 1 because I'm not familiar with the musical at all.
Me either.
Like, I never really I haven't gotten into the musical. I just know that it has big fans, and I was in theater in high school, so I already knew the notoriety of Wicked. I just never really got into it personally.
Okay.
So I watched the first movie, and I definitely enjoyed the first movie. I feel like the first movie is great. It has the formula of a classic musical from the 60s. It definitely feels that way, even though it is an adaptation of a more modern musical. But it feels a lot like I don't know, like, I want to say like the CinemaScope musicals from the 60s, low key kind of like how King and I was made. I'm not talking about the music per se, but I'm talking about the filmmaking itself. You know what I'm saying? It definitely felt akin to those types of movies. And the story, I felt, even though there were some slow points in pacing in that first part, the story flowed real smooth, very, very smoothly. Yeah, I mean, it was great. I loved the first part, and I definitely was looking forward to the second part. Um, the second part, I gotta say, I didn't enjoy as much as a film compared to the first part, because I felt like this part two is even slower than the first part. And part one is almost 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? I feel like part two is a little bit more slow. It is slower paced than the first part. And honestly, without having seen the musical, like, you can tell, like, they stretched out part two quite a bit because they wanted it felt like they wanted to go for that feature length, a similar length to the first film, so they had to stretch it out in some way. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong, but that's just how it felt to me. I was just waiting to get to the next point and get to the next point because they were taking a while to focus on this point. I was like, come on, like, where's this going? You know? But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The story is definitely satisfying. I was satisfied with how everything turned out story-wise. I mean, it's watchable. It's not one of those movies that I feel like is an abomination for sure. No, I didn't hate myself watching this. I enjoyed most of it. It's just that it is very slow. It is very slow, and I feel like honestly, it would have been better if Wicked was released as one movie.
Okay, interesting. Real quick, I was looking up the director's credits real quick. I had no clue this is the guy who directed the second G.I. Joe movie, which is funny. He also directed that Gem and the Holograms live action film that came out in 2015. And he's directing the Split Fiction movie coming out. So did what?
What fiction?
Split Fiction. It's a video
Split
game
Fiction,
adaptation.
The game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
He also did
he also did Into the Heights, I believe.
Yep.
In the Heights.
Oh,
He did
In the Heights, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do Crazy Rich Asians too?
Yep.
Yes, he did.
Crazy Rich
And he
Asians,
also did. I think he also did a few of the Step Up movies too.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Dakari, because I'm kind of the opposite of where you're at with this one. I really didn't like Wicked 1, to be honest with you. And I enjoyed Wicked 2. I liked the pacing of Wicked 2 a lot more than the first film.
It's crazy.
Just a little bit of where I'm at with the first one real quick. And excuse my ignorance, I have not seen the play, so I don't know how true the screenplay is from the stage play. I never read the books either that this is based off of as well. But yeah, I don't know. Wicked 1, like, just dragged on for me, genuinely. I wasn't sure what that movie was trying to say at times, other than, like, everyone should be accepted. There was bits in that movie that I just found laughable, like the Munchkins being, like, racist towards the beginning is crazy.
That was hilarious.
It was hilarious, dude, but it's also like, come on now, dude. And I can't help but notice, like, some of the weird filmmaking flaws in this movie really, really took me out of it with part one. The main thing being the lighting. The lighting in that first film is atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Lighting isn't very good in that first one.
It's atrocious, dude. There's these grand set pieces that are like half CGI, half practical. And in order to hide where we're blending the practical with the CGI stuff, we're just overexposing the hell out of the background to hide that. And it's so lazy to me. Like, Wicked 2...
That's fair.
When I was going into Wicked 2, I really thought it was going to be comparable to Wakanda Forever for me. Where I was like, oh, I want this to be about more of Emerald City, more of the community going on, more of the people, but we're going to hyper-focus on our two protagonists. And that's where Wakanda Forever went wrong, in my opinion. I really wanted that to be about Wakanda itself as a film. So I was prepared for that with Wicked 2, but thankfully I didn't get that. Like, and those kind of nuances and those subtleties come from background motions and scenes, dude. Like, the library sequence in the first Wicked, there's this, it's almost kind of like, it reminds me of like Harry Potter meets like the Hobbit franchise in a sense, with the design of that library sequence. There's this whole like rotating bookshelf that's really cool they're on. There's like, it's almost like Gears in a sense, where there's like 3 or 4 of them behind them, and there's this massive circle like window that you can't see out of one bit. It's just this blinding white light to hide that. But yet, when we're doing the motion of the camera turning around, every other small window's lights will be blown the hell out. It's stationary, and all of a sudden I could see a couple trees. It's just so inconsistent throughout the entire movie. This issue also is with Wicked for Good, but I think Wicked for Good fixes it a little bit. So it makes me think it's more of a color grading decision than a costume design decision, because the costume designs in these movies are fantastic. There's no arguing that. But it's just so weird how muted the Wicked movies are when The Wizard of Oz is the movie for color. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only just for Technicolor and it brought color to fucking film. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just so muted to me. It's so ugly. Throughout so much of it. I think the character designs in terms of like the costume designs is great.
Dude.
But yeah.
Dude, you have no idea how bad I'm itching to talk about this right now, because respectfully, all y'all are wrong. You are wrong.
No, I hear you. Please, please, put me in my place. Help me see this movie how you see it,
All right,
Shannon.
First
Please.
of all, having not seen the musical, you are doing a disservice to yourself, because you should have seen the musical before watching the movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this would change y'all's view of the movie in a way. The Wicked musical is elaborate. The world building, the costume design, the staging. If there's one thing about like I was saying earlier, it's very difficult to take a Broadway musical and transition it into a film.
Mm.
You have to build the world for the audience. It's not like sitting in front of a stage and having that set in front of you. So it's going to take a little more time and a little more detail to put your audience right there in the world of whatever it is that's taking place.
Sure.
I hear what you're saying about some of the lighting choices. I do. Did you happen to know that they filmed both these movies at the same time?
I do, and that's why I feel like it's a color choice. I feel like compared to or color grading choice, excuse me, the costume design, because it is more vibrant in part 2, and I feel like that's a reaction to people talking about it.
I don't know if it is, but the color. So I forget who it was. I've been watching a lot of content, consuming a lot of interviews from, from like the crew to like the production team, the cast. They talked about the specific choices of using certain color to communicate emotions in certain scenes. And maybe that didn't translate, and maybe that didn't work in a technical aspect. I don't know. I personally love the color. I think that it's like the vibrancy adds to the element of the story and enhances the emotion for me. Especially because I really wish I could remember her name right now. She talked about at the end of part 1, Elphaba's exit. So they use the color orange, and that is supposed to signify her transformation.
Oh, for the defy gravity scene, that sequence,
right?
Yeah, okay.
Schoolgirl into defying gravity, eventually becoming the Wicked Witch. Also, I am actually reading the book right now, so I got my copy right here.
Oh, cool! Hell yeah!
Nice.
Oh wow.
Wicked musical, very, 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 very loosely based on this book.
Loosely based.
Very loosely based on.
Very loosely.
Loosely. So Gregory Maguire wrote this in response to reading The Wizard of Oz. He read all of the Wizard of Oz books. Right? Is it L. Frank Baum is the writer of The Wizard of Oz, like the original story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out with so many books. And created this entire world. And Gregory Maguire published this in the 90s, and he wanted to look at it from the perspective of the Wicked Witch, because it's always about Dorothy, but we don't know much about the Wicked Witch. So he created an entire world himself, where he actually, he has a map in here of Oz. I'll show it to you right here.
Oh,
that's cool. It's detailed, but this story it's a fairy tale, very gothic, very dark, sexually perverse at times. I'm not all the way through, but what I've noticed so far is that the interpretations of both Elphaba and Glinda are very, very different in the musical as opposed to the book, for good reason. But we still take they take creative liberties with these characters, but they still kind of keep some things central, which is the prejudice against a girl that has green skin. So, I cried so many times. I watched part 2 like 3 times.
Oh wow! Okay.
I went to the movie theater 3 times, and I watched the first part 3 times as well. I love the attention to detail and how well they took care of this story, because as somebody that grew up listening to the soundtrack and has also seen the stage production, I think this was done masterfully. And especially since they had Stephen Schwartz, who was the original composer and writer of the musical, uh, guiding them, and they had the producer Mark Platt.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Platt was one of the original producers of the Wicked musical, I think. They took really good care of it, I think. And that's why I feel like this is a top tier musical for me.
Okay.
Top tier movie musical.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with somebody, one of my friends, who was also really into film, and he was also saying the same thing, Max, about how it should have just been one film. And I said, I respectfully disagree with you 100% on this one. If you saw the musical itself, I think you would understand a little more. I do think that there were some bits in the movie that could have been, you know, pacing was a little like slow.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, they took their time to build the world up, to show you what was happening, so that it wasn't like an abrupt cut to the next part of the story where you're like, well, wait a minute, how did we get here? We need that. So it could not have been done all in one movie. There's no way. There is no way. Now, if it was purely for capitalist reasons, because you want to make money off of two movies, you know that it's going to do well in the movie theater because so many people know Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But after watching both of them, I feel like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, right? You could not do Lord of the Rings in one movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You could not do one. You could not do it. That's why it's a trilogy. It's a huge book. There's a lot of things that happen in the book, and there's a lot of world building that has to happen. I also I love the cinematography. The girl in the bubble scene, dude. That is so beautifully done. That like mirror shot, a la Contact.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like 5 different mirrors. I loved it. I thought that was so cool. The costumes are incredible. Paul Taswell was the designer of the costumes.
Which
He
he
won
won the
the
Oscar for
last
last
year. He
Yep.
won the Oscar last year. He's gonna win it again, and if he doesn't, I'm a riot. Because the absolute attention to like everything down to just like the small details in like Glinda's blue dress that she wears for the majority of the second film, and Elphaba's hair, her micro braids. Like he even added some like plaits to her braids um in the second part.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair changes a lot with the story, but as she becomes the Wicked Witch, as she grows, her look changes slightly. Her makeup is darker. Her skin is a little more green. Um, you could see her freckles. Like, just it's beautiful. Like the way that they costumed everybody, the set design is beautiful. I think the CGI was really good. I don't know how I feel about Dorothy and the Scarecrow and Tin Man and the Lion all being CGI, but they didn't spend too much time. They made sure that it was included because it is important, but they didn't spend too much time with Dorothy and the gang going to see the
Well,
the wizard.
I didn't think Dorothy was CGI. I remember seeing pictures of an actress they used. They just didn't want to show her face.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
She is. It still looks like CGI to me.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, just the visuals. I get, okay.
She probably was like standing in for certain shots, like especially for the scene where Elfie is melted.
Yeah, yeah.
But like the one where they're walking down the yellow brick road, that looks like CGI to me, and I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
From the first movie.
both the first and like the second movie too.
Oh yeah,
Because
that was probably CGI.
And
I think-
the part where she's scooped up by the flying monkeys, and you
I
see her
liked the
POV
first
of the
person
shoes.
show. Yeah, I liked that actually.
I think that was really cool. That was really cool. I could go on and on about this whole like both of these movies. I really could, and I'm not trying to eat up everybody's time because
No, you're
like, I
good. We
really
need
could
some
sit here.
love for these movies, dude.
Yeah.
I just shit on it. No, but coming from the sequel though, just to defend my stance a little bit, I do enjoy the sequel more than the first one. I know the pacing didn't work for everyone, but I just feel like 2 has a lot more going on with its plot in general. You know, like
it does.
I felt the 2 hours and 45 minutes drag on a bit in the first film. But I don't know, 2 is straight to the action of this one. I do enjoy it for what it is. And you also mentioned like the bubble sequence, or the bubble just in general. I thought that was a pretty fun thing with the second one, how it being like obviously a big phony stuff with this film. In general, I do like how the sequel, and for good, how we're hyping Glinda up to basically be the exact same as the Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe it's my fault for not reading the original source material. Maybe that's something that's always been done, but like I just wasn't expecting that throughout that film. The back and forth was a bit jarring, but it felt like a drama in a sense, with it being so hot potato, like hands off, here's the hot seats, constantly.
It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
It
I'll
is.
agree. And the second act, because this part 2 is the second act of the musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be darker. It's meant to be heavier, a lot more dramatic. Right. Because you've got two women that are at odds with each other, because you have one that wants to stand up for what is right, and the other one who is fine with being complacent as long as she gets what she wants. There's a lot of back and forth. So I might have to go back and watch both of them again, but I'll tell you this, the pacing didn't bother me because I was already so glued to the screen the entire time. It captured my attention the entire time.
Okay.
So.
All right, I hear you, dude. Cam, let's hear some of your thoughts on where you're at with Wicked for Good. Because I know you are a huge fan of Wicked 1. I think more than anybody, and that's saying a lot, because I feel like I text Shannon pretty often, and you've recommended Wicked about 1,000 times to me. But I feel like more than anybody, Cam, you have gone on to me about not watching Wicked so far until currently. Even this morning, you text me like, you watched this already, right? So where are you at with the first film? How are you feeling about For Good as well? Well, let's hear your thoughts on this.
I love the first film.
Okay.
And this is coming from somebody who has never seen the Broadway play. So I guess the pacing problem never was a big issue to me, because without it, I doubt I would be able to figure out what was going on.
Sure.
Also, love the coloring, love cinematography.
Okay.
And I love the cast too. Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande. She was made to play Glinda.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum, very charming as the wizard.
I agree on that. I do like Goldblum as the wizard.
Yeah, he was actually really good. He was really good.
He's solid.
He would not have been my first choice, though.
His musical aspect, like his singing, is just terrible in these movies. I'll say, like he's so off key.
It is.
Yes.
That and
it's bad.
It wasn't horrible, but he's not the best singer.
Dude, I was the only person laughing in that theater. Anytime Jeff Goldblum started to sing.
I heard worse, man.
I believe
it's
it.
not good, but it's not that bad.
But continue, Cam. Let's hear more of your thoughts on the casting and all that.
I'll just say that there was even a time in the second movie where he was too charming, I almost forgot to hate him. We were supposed to be hating him.
Right.
Fair enough. Okay. And how are you feeling overall about Wicked for Good, the sequel?
I liked it. I made a promise to myself after seeing the second one I was going to see the Broadway play because once again I've never seen it before, and I was waiting for that second one to release before I could see the Broadway play to avoid spoilers.
Fair enough.
I like the pacing. I think it was a problem for me as well. I like Elphaba's character arc now, how her development has been.
Okay. Okay.
Saving animals and then saying, "Okay, you want me to become this Wicked Witch? Fine, I'll become the Wicked Witch," and yeah.
I do like that as well because it's a mantle that is not only forced on her, but we eventually see her embrace it to a degree, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, she has to throw in the towel in order to do that, and I do like seeing that kind of breaking moment in the sequel for sure. What would your favorite scene be in For Good, Cam?
It would be Glinda and Elphaba's fight. It was a pretty funny scene.
Oh yeah,
that was a little. That was
That was
funny.
cool.
That was pretty
That
solid.
was funny.
And do you have a favorite musical number in the sequel at all?
Definitely For Good. I was gonna say No Good Deed takes a close second.
Okay. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay.
B Money, let's see your thoughts on Wicked for Good, man. Where are you at with this one? I know you've been itching for the past 365 days to get back on this podcast and to talk about these movies. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of keep it brief on my Wicked 1 review, just as a bit of a refresher. I love the first Wicked movie. I thought I don't know, everything was near perfect about that movie, like the cast, for the most part. But like the production design, probably my favorite aspect.
Yeah.
I always love the fun fact that they had like 1,000,000 flowers like shipped for like a specific like location or something like that. I always love that little detail, just like not even like CGI in the flowers, like literally like having flowers and just placing the like millions of flowers. So I always love that little detail when it comes to production design and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I loved the first one. Rewatched it again in prep for Wicked for Good. Still loved it. Like Cam said, I think Ariana Grande was made to play Glinda, and I know she's been wanting to play this role. She said it in interviews too. She's wanted to play this role for a long time, and you could tell she gives like 500% in her performance. And I think in both movies.
Absolutely.
Oh. And I would also say Cynthia Erivo is a great Elphaba as well. I'm not discrediting her in any way. But like Ariana Grande definitely shines in both movies for me.
I think Cynthia Erivo is the best singer in this movie, but
Period. Yes.
Singing wise, I agree. Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
She's got the
I would
voice.
agree. Yeah.
She is the most incredible voice of our generation. There is no one like her. There will never be anyone like her. I get emotional every fucking time I watch The Color Purple, her Tony Award performance of The Color Purple. Her singing I'm Here. That fucking song makes me cry every time I listen to her sing that song. Every time. Without a doubt. She made me cry several times when I watched Wicked, just because like her voice is so rich, and the tone and the texture of her voice, and she's perfect in this role. She's absolutely perfect in this role.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah, whole the whole defying gravity scene at the end of the movie, probably one of my favorite endings to a movie.
Definitely cried.
Like,
Shannon, you definitely cried.
I was crying. I will admit, I was crying
so
at the end of it.
That was
so hard.
Great, amazing scene. Now, when we get to Wicked for Good, I'll be kind of the middleman in everybody's thoughts here.
Okay.
I still think Cynthia and Ariana are great in their performances. I think they shine in what they are given. And yeah, I can't believe like we didn't talk about this enough. Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh cannot sing at all.
Yeah, dude. Michelle.
It was
Yeoh's-
very distracting. And I
Michelle Yeoh, yeah.
I think Michelle Yeoh. I will stand by and say Michelle Yeoh was miscasted from the get-go.
I
don't
agree.
think she was a great.
Yeah, so
I do not think she was a great Marvel.
Wait a minute.
I agree
Hold
on that.
I'm going to stand by that. I feel like every single scene she was in,
Hold on
it
a
felt like she
second.
could give two craps about it.
So hold on a second, okay? Michelle Yeoh in an interview did say that she was very, very nervous about doing a musical role. And they put a lot of faith into her. And I think that she did the best that she could because she is not a singer.
I agree.
And Jeff Goldblum were simply put in there because they can do the characters justice themselves. Not with the singing, with the way the characters are written. Madame Morrible she is cunty, she is evil, she shows that she's evil eventually in the second film, but I do think that there could have been a better choice for Madame Morrible. I think she did fine.
Yeah.
But she was not as cutting as I would have wanted her to be as Madame Morrible. Could have been a lot more.
Honestly, for me, like every time Madame Morrible like shared a scene with somebody, like it distracted me every single time because like I just felt like she was a sore thumb in every scene, like I said, and I feel like you talked about, I think there could have been a way better Madame Morrible who both did the character justice from an acting perspective and as a singer. Now I'm gonna give Jeff Goldblum half credit, like though while like his singing isn't great, I still believed him more as the Wizard compared to Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible. To me,
that's where I'm at too with that, Brandon. I agree.
I think he gave a decent performance, Jeff Goldblum. Story-wise, and yes, I've not seen the original Broadway production. I've not seen the musical at all. So I'm just gonna say, like, to me, the story didn't get out of second gear for me. Like, I think they had interesting ideas, but I don't think I didn't find myself fully interested. In a lot of it, and I think that's more of a script issue rather than like a pacing issue to me. I just don't think. It kind of like steadied from where it got interesting, and to me, I don't think the music hit as hard compared to the first one. The only scene that really like compared to the first movie was No Good Deed. I think that was probably the best scene, in my opinion. Like I think it carried the gravitas of the first movie. I think it was on par with Defying Gravity for me. Controversial take. I did not like the For Good scene. I did not find any emotion. I could not. I'm sorry.
Brandon.
I'm sorry, but I just couldn't find myself emotionally invested in their goodbyes. Like and again, I think it's from the script not being as strong as the first one, and also I don't know how I'm not sure why we haven't talked about this enough. Ethan Slater, minus all the behind the scenes stuff, I think he was great as the Tin Man. I just wish he had a complete arc. I think after that musical number that he gave, like where he's he's riding with the Munchkins, which do not get me started on the Munchkins.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a Munchkin fan either.
They are fucking stupid, bro. Like they are so gullible as hell. They will, and I get that's what they're trying to portray, but holy shit, like you could say anything and they will believe it. Like I don't know, that was just from me coming from.
If I may respectfully interject on this one, my guys, y'all need to go watch the musical. I'll watch the musical.
We're gonna go take a
See,
trip.
see,
We're gonna go
that's-
see the fucking musical, Shannon. We're gonna go gather up the fucking
I'm
Muppet
just
bus.
looking at this from a film
That's-
perspective. And I,
That's
I,
why
don't
I
get me
haven't-
wrong,
understand.
I wanted to see this musical for a long time. I just have not gotten the chance to, and I am really sorry.
I'm
about
giving
that.
y'all shit because I can, because I've seen this and I know, and I have such a deep
And
connection to
I
this.
I love the first movie. I love the first movie. It was probably my top movie last year. But yeah, I thought I wish some of the story beats were hit harder. I liked where they're going. Don't get me wrong, but I wish they had it more. I don't know. Like, I felt like to me it was more. It felt too, like the Wizard of Oz aspect of it. I thought was. I felt like it was shoehorned in a little bit. I wish they kind of told it's. Now I'm not saying get rid of it.
No.
completely.
Listen for a second. I just want to say, like, that I hear what you're saying. I do, and I know you're looking at this from a film perspective. I'm telling you, it makes a lot more sense when you do watch it. But I wanted to add to this because again, they're pulling from the book. I'm such a fucking nerd. But they're pulling. A lot of this is loosely based on the book, right? So the Munchkinlanders actually are fucking stupid. They're a very stupid group of people, and it does talk about that in the book. Like they literally are. It's like you give them like a monkey playing the cymbals, and they go crazy. Like, oh, shock! Like they love entertainment. But the story about the Tin Man, I haven't gotten to that part yet. It's the next part that I'm about to read in this, and I'm happy to share more about my thoughts on this. Right now, I'm not the biggest fan of this book. It's really, really dark. It's really dark, and it's very, very strange. But I want to keep reading. I want to keep like figuring out what else happens next. But there's a reason why they don't go too deep into it. There's just way too much character backstory that cannot be fit into the story of the musical. Like, I really do want to know how that whole transition happened, but they did it exactly as they did it in the stage musical that they do in the film.
No,
So
I
that's
thought
why
that
I don't
whole
get that.
transformation scene, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
how dark they made it.
Yeah. Oh,
just like going
his
back
makeup
and forth.
was crazy.
Oh, I love the makeup. I love the whole design of the Tin Man. I loved how gritty and like dark. Like I said, I just love how like it was trying to make you feel uncomfortable, and I think it did its job great. Like just having going back and forth with Alphaba's sister and like her. Was she the one that casted the spell? I believe.
Yes. Fuck Nessa.
Yeah. Nessa, yeah, and then she told Tin Man like it was Alphaba that actually.
She reads from the spell book, and she doesn't know what the hell she's reading. So of course her sister does exactly what she always does. She comes in and she fixes her fucking mess, and then her sister's like, "It was her. She did it."
Nepo baby.
You bitch. She
Nepo
did
child.
it.
I feel you on that because that definitely pissed me off too. That definitely pissed me off.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you
Right?
do? Why would you do some shit like that?
Alphaba already gets blamed enough for the fact that she was apparently responsible for her sister being crippled. Like
Exactly.
she like that. Her father hates her because the reason why
She was green.
her sister. The reason why her sister is crippled is because they gave her mom, who was a whore by the way. They gave her an herb to change the color of the baby's skin, but it ended up crippling the baby. So they just flat out said, well, Alphaba's responsible for all of this because she had to be the one that came out green. It's her fault. And her sister is a selfish bitch who just gets everything handed to her. and that scene when Bach is trying to leave Munchkinland, and they've got the poster that says effective immediately, animals and Munchkinlanders are not permitted to travel, out of fucking spite.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a good
I want to
scene,
kick the
dude.
chair
Dirty.
over.
I don't know. I wish.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like I was loving the whole Bach aspect of like him wanting to go to Emerald City and like distancing himself from this and all that stuff. And I loved all the transformation stuff too. I just wish like he had a conclusive arc at the end. They just kind of dropped him after that musical
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get there's like a lot of characters you have to go back and forth with. But
They might also
I mean,
have chosen that
they did it
because
in the
we
first
know the
movie
story.
with 2.5 hours, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like they might have dropped that off because of the history that we already have, knowing the Wizard of Oz story, even though we don't really get
And that's
a
where
character arc.
That's why I kind of go back to my stance on like I wish it was a little bit more of a retelling of the Wizard of Oz rather than like plot points of Dorothy going off to the woods, and I wish it was more, I guess, like intimate. I guess it more of a, like, this is how it actually played out rather than like, oh, this is just from the Wizard of Oz, you know. I kind of wish like Dorothy and Elphaba had like more of like an understanding of each other, I guess, of like a scene, and then like something like accidental happens where maybe I don't know.
There's that's probably one thing that I thought was really weird between the original movie and this this fan fiction, if you will, because this is a fan fiction. Is you see a lot more interactions between Dorothy and the witch in the first movie. In the second movie, there really isn't a ton of interaction between the two. Because technically in the first movie, the Wicked Witch shows up right when Dorothy lands, but she's like there before she starts heading out on the Yellow Brick Road. When we get to the scene where the house has already fallen, Glinda's saying, "All right, see y'all later. Have a good time."
Yeah.
And then she shows up. Then the Wicked Witch shows up. And it's like, that's not how it originally happened in the movie. But then again, it's fan fiction, so they're taking their liberties with the story. It's just, it's different. It's just different. So, I see what you're saying, though, and I get it.
Let's dive into ratings for this one, because I'm really, really curious where everyone's at for the sequel. Brandon, I'm gonna put you up on the block for this one first, too, because I want to hear your re-rating for the first film again, real quick, too.
So, my rating on the first movie, was the same as, the first or the episode that I talked about this on, and it's still the same now. I'm giving it a best spin on the way to Coruscant.
Okay.
I think just I wish a couple things were different of the first movie, but I still loved it overall. For Wicked for Good, I know I sounded a little bit negative in my thoughts and stuff like that, but I will give it a Naboo on the way to best spin for this one, because I still enjoyed it. I didn't hate it at all, and I think a lot of the performances do save this movie for me. I think they carry a lot of... I think the performances themselves... kind of help boost up a little bit of this rating for me. But yeah, like I said, I don't think the music hits as much as the first one, because the first one, like, I was listening to that soundtrack almost nonstop for a good couple months. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, for this one, like, I really have not gone back to the music much, other than like No Good Deed to me. So that's kind of like a downer for like a musical. Like, you expect it to be catchier, but I don't know. I just didn't find myself loving the music in this movie. And then yeah, the story didn't only went so far for me. It kind of like was kind of at a stance for the most part to me. Interesting ideas, like I said, but I don't think they just follow through as I hoped for. And then, like I said, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, like, I wish they found better singers, or at the very least redub the singing because I know they've done that for a lot of movies back in the day. Just redub the voices with better singers that like match the voices, if anything. If you were going to keep the actors at the very least. But yeah, Naboo on the way to Coruscant. I in a personal kind of way, I hope Ariana Grande gets Best Supporting Actress. I hope she gets that nod because I think she deserves it for at least both movies, in my opinion. And definitely Cynthia Erivo too. She should get a nod. But as far as that, I was still entertained. Like I said, don't get me wrong, but man, I was left kind of disappointed by the end.
Okay. And Dakar, where are you at with both Wicked movies?
Okay, so like I said, I really enjoyed the first Wicked. Without having seen the musical, I'm just looking at it from a filmmaking perspective, and I really enjoyed that first one. Even though it definitely, I feel like it drags throughout. Um, I really, it really got me into the story. It really got me into the characters. It really got me into, what was happening and what was going on. And I did like the songs a lot. And Cynthia Erivo is the best singer, um, across both movies. You know what I'm saying? As far as Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh is concerned, I mean, I didn't. Because I get what you guys mean, but trust me, I've heard worse singing. Okay, like I don't think Jeff Goldblum's singing no. Listen, I don't think he was terrible, but he wasn't exactly good. Michelle Yeoh's singing wasn't very good.
It was
Michelle Yeoh's
distracting
singing
almost.
wasn't very good.
It took me
I
out of the
mean,
movie. For me.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind her as bad or memorable. I thought she was serviceable. I do feel like they could have added. There could have been a little bit more. Um, there could have been a little bit more to her character in the movie. I don't know about this musical. I just know the movie. Okay, in the movie. Okay, I felt like there could have been a little bit more to her as a character in the movie. But I mean, it
Sure.
was Michelle Yeoh. I got excited when I saw Michelle Yeoh. Okay, like I didn't know she was in this movie, but I got excited because she's one of my favorite actresses. I love her. So I mean, yeah, part one's good. Part one's really good. I'll actually go back and watch part one more than part two, and that's not to say that part two was bad. Of course, these movies aren't bad. It's just that part two it was slower than part one to me. You know, I don't know. That's just how it felt. It was a lot of different moments where there was focus on this for a specific amount of time, and then there was focus on this for another specific amount of time, and then there's focus on this for another specific amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like the pacing dragged far more in this one. That's just me personally, but everything from the act, like everything is pretty much on par with the first movie as far as like the technical aspects are concerned. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just it drags more than the first part. That's really it. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I wish the colors in this were a little bit brighter. That's just me. I wish they were a little bit more vibrant because I get why they colored it the way they colored it. I don't know. I would just like it to be a little bit brighter and more vibrant than it was. That's just me. Um, I like these movies. I like them. It definitely intrigues me to go look into the musical itself, for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
to see how that was
Yeah.
formatted and how that was made. It definitely intrigues me to say, okay, maybe I should check out the musical. But, yeah, I dug the movies. They were cool.
Fair enough, dude. For Wicked Part 1, I don't know. I'm at a Bespin or excuse me, let me know. I'm at a Hoth for this one. Excuse me. I'm at a Hoth for Wicked Part 1.
Hell no. Are you serious, Max? Come
Yeah,
on.
I didn't like
Nah,
this, dude.
bro.
I don't think I'll ever watch Part 1 again,
Dude.
to be honest with you. I think I'll watch the stage performance, but like
Man, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of
Who is this guy?
no, but genuinely, dude, I just I don't know. I didn't like this movie almost at all, dude.
No, fair.
I was really reaching for parts to like, and I didn't get a chance to talk much about Michelle Yeoh, but like to even go further, what you're saying, Brandon, I think she's completely miscast in this movie and just a waste. I love her in like everything else I've seen. Of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's a fucking beast in that movie and well deserving of the Oscar. I don't know what kind of follow up this movie is to that, dude. The entire time it feels like her character is trying to be, oh god, what's her name from Harry Potter, dude? From Order of the Phoenix. Where's Pink? The asshole, the real like.
Oh shit!
Yes, Umbridge. Thank you, Doris Umbridge. Yeah, the entire time Michelle Yeoh just felt like she was doing an impression of Doris Umbridge to me. It just drove me fucking nuts.
That is such a good. Yeah. Yeah, actually.
It just feels like it's
I don't
just
even know what
trying
that
to be
is.
that. Doris Umbridge, she's one of the evil professors within Hogwarts that's like with Voldemort's team. So she's like the main antagonist of the
I've only seen the first Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. Well, she's like the main antagonist of the fifth one, basically. Okay. But yeah, the entire time watching this, it just felt like a bad impression of Umbridge in this movie. That's not to say I didn't like the sequel. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the sequel's perfect by any means, but I enjoyed it a lot more than Wicked Part 1. I probably would watch Wicked Part 2 again, to be honest with you.
What did you give Wicked the first one if you gave this one a Hoth?
I give the first Wicked a Hoth, is what I'm saying. Wicked is a Hoth. For good, I give a Hoth on the way to Naboo. I think there's still some issues with Wicked for good. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot more, dude. I do think in terms of pacing and separating, the two films and the stories, I understand it's the second act of the play, or the musical. But I think that divide works really well in film. There's like a tonal shift for me that actually sold itself really well for the sequel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. This is a Hoth on the way to Naboo for the sequel. It's just a straight Hoth for the first one. I don't know. I think I'd watch For Good again at some point. I really like the tie-ins with Wizard of Oz. Makes me give a shit about what's going on in Wizard of Oz for the first time. Yeah, dude. I also fucking hate these Munchkins. I do. I think they're fucking awful. I genuinely do, man.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
No. Earlier this year, I had the displeasure of watching the live-action Snow White remake. And during that episode, I talked about this a little bit. And I've seen several interviews and podcasts going about... Yeah, Rachel Zegler. Yeah, that one. I just think it's fucking weird to instead of... And in order to be more inclusive and not being stereotypical and having little people play dwarves or smaller characters, we just take that role away from them at this point.
Thank you, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, thank you, Peter Dinklage. Exactly. I hear so many people saying, fuck you, Peter Dinklage, for that exact reason. And for this to come out, like, sandwiched but with Snow White right in the middle, it's like, fuck you, the little people in general, and it's so annoying to me. Like, that's part of the charm of The Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? Like... It's just so weird that is completely removed in this. And then on top of that, you make the characters so unlikable. Like, right off the bat, they're racist. Right off the bat, they're just dumb and annoying. I don't know. Fuck the Munchkins in these movies. Genuinely, dude. I hate them so much. Yeah, those are my thoughts on the Wicked movies.
Hey, quick question. Did y'all know Peter Dinklage was the GOAT in the first movie?
Yeah. Which is so ironic. It's so ironic. I almost I'm like, him playing the GOAT. Oh man.
Isn't it fucking comical that we're talking about this roles with little people?
Stop! Please stop! This is not funny. Stop!
This is fucking hilarious. Stop! Peter Dinklage, not only did you ruin Munchkin Land for so many actors, but you also took a role. Go fuck yourself, Peter Dinklage. Holy shit!
You know what I think they were doing? You know what I think they were doing?
I did like Peter Dinklage in the first movie too.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters.
He's yes. So
Dr.
here's what I
Delonge.
think that they were trying to do is with the Munchkinlanders, it doesn't specify, and from what I've read, it does not specify that the Munchkinlanders are short or that they are little people.
Oh, come on, bro. They're called fucking munchkins, bro.
A derogatory term.
You can't save this one, Shannon. You can't.
It doesn't specify in the book, okay? But you know what? We're trying to be inclusive. We're trying to be inclusive of everybody. It doesn't matter if they're small, big, large. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter to them in this sense because even in the musical, like I know on Broadway there's a tendency to cast people that are a certain height, and it's for a reason. It's because they don't want to alter the costumes like too much.
Sure.
Because you're gonna have people rotating out of these roles. This show's been on Broadway for over 20 years.
Yeah.
They opened in 2003. So they've had multiple people that have done these roles that have had to wear the same costumes. Excuse me. So I don't know how tall they typically cast the Munchkinlanders in the musical, but from the film, I didn't get everybody being short. That's not the vibe that I got. There was a mixture of different heights.
You know, honestly, I didn't have that much of a problem with it. Honestly,
I
it was
didn't
just
either,
like it was
though.
just how they were portrayed that really that griped me.
It bugged the whole
actually
thing.
like
Bugged the
a
fuck out of me,
perfect-
dude.
This movie could not have come out at a more perfect time with where we are right now as a country, because they literally are the MAGA cult.
No, I do agree on that. I do agree.
They're the
yeah.
MAGA cult. And that's why people don't like them, because they really are. They're fucking stupid. They believe anything you tell them,
Yeah.
and they run with it. And just
my
like what
God.
the wizard says, they
You could
need
really look
someone
at
to
the movie
believe
like
in.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about, not just part one, but both.
Oh my God, is
movies
Jeff
together.
Goldblum Donald Trump?
Yes. That's the
Essentially,
point. Yeah. That's
Essentially.
Wow. Yeah. If you really think about that. Wow.
Pretty much.
I'm
yeah.
surprised that y'all didn't catch that.
no, I did. I'm surprised Brandon's like a major.
I caught it. I definitely caught
I'm
it.
actually talking about like it's clear in my head.
I just wasn't trying to make this whole episode.
Just making sure.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I didn't realize that about Wicked going into it because I had never seen the musical, so I didn't realize that there would be a lot of social commentary in it. You know what I'm saying? It definitely caught me off guard, especially when it comes to Elphaba and everything. It was interesting. It was interesting.
So there was a I don't think it's a theory, but there was not a criticism, but somebody said that the Wizard of Oz is an allegory for manifest destiny.
I could see that.
Okay. Yeah.
I could kind of see that.
So the takeover of Oz by this great powerful being who has magical powers or claims to be magic, putting a bunch of roads through these lands to connect to this one big city, but you're forcing people out, or you're imprisoning people in order to do it, forcing them to work to build up these lands for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look into it again, because I learned about this high school. It was when we talked about Wizard of Oz being an allegory for manifest destiny.
Oh, interesting.
It's been a while, but I want to look into it again, for sure. But that might also kind of help explain why the story has such a strong message of there will always be someone that is blamed for the problems of society.
Yeah.
We will always find a scapegoat, and it does not matter. Even to this day, it doesn't matter that Trump is in the Epstein files. People are still going to defend the fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? he might be the most evil person in the world, but they're still going to defend him because they put their faith into this and they need something to believe in. And if that's what they want to believe, then they're going to go full throttle with it. So, man, I just love this movie. I love these movies so much. I love the story so much. I think it's powerful. It's worth seeing. And just, I felt good coming away from these movies. I felt so, like, I don't know. I just love the message of, like, two people that didn't like each other in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They do end up coming together and learning to love each other in the end, despite the circumstances. So,
What would
really
your
special?
What would your rating be for these, Shannon?
Max, come on, Coruscant, both. Y'all. I've already given y'all enough shit. I've already given y'all enough shit for not seeing it. It's fine. I like for not seeing the musical. It's fine. I've already given y'all enough of that. And I know that this is more about the filmmaking than this is about like the, just like the background of it. But I feel like I'm glad that y'all had me on as a guest because now I could give you that context and I could tell you from my perspective, just like I did with the Evil Dead episode. I'm able to give you my perspective because of what I know about the story from the theatrical perspective as opposed to filmmaking. I would definitely love to go back and do like a double feature and then really pay more attention rather than paying attention to the story itself. While I did pay attention to the filmmaking aspects of it, I think I want to pay a little more attention to like the details, like you were saying with the overexposure in the lighting. I want to look at some of those scenes more. Was there a specific one besides the library one that stood out to you that you thought was too overexposed?
Any scene that's involving windows, I've noticed it. Any scene of a ton of windows that's just all completely blown the fuck out when it comes to lighting. And you'll notice it too because we'll have, for example, say there's a window here, and a window right behind me, right? We'll have this window in one shot, we'll have a part of a tree or one of the Emerald City buildings or something in the background. And then when we switch perspectives, then we don't have it here, but we have it in the one behind my head. We switch perspectives. It's just constantly shifting back and forth. It's really weird.
I'm going to definitely pay attention to that. I'm going to pay attention to that next time I watch it.
The library scene, that whole musical sequence, like I said, it's the most noticeable because that large circular window that's within the gear change or like moving bookshelves, that does not.
It's really bright. It is really.
No, the lighting is not great.
Yeah, it doesn't shift whatsoever. But you'll notice it'll shift inconsistently throughout every other window in that room. It's really weird. I don't know who was in charge of that, what they were thinking, if it was intentional.
Look up the lighting designer.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. But I
mean,
I'll look at that later.
So, I mean, I think you could have done it a lot better.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the spirit we have here at Galaxy of Film. And speaking of things we do a lot better here at Galaxy of Film, Cam, what is your final comments and ratings for Wicked 2 and also the first Wicked 2 because we didn't get you on for that episode originally?
I feel both of them get Coruscants.
Okay. Okay, you and Shannon are in the same boat then, huh?
Yeah. The pacing didn't really matter to me much because this is like my first time ever watching like anything Wicked, so I needed to know like what was going on, what this is, what that is. Like I needed that world building aspect.
Okay. Fair enough, dude. Beautifully put, man. I'm glad to get you guys both on for an episode like this. Because you guys love this movie. I sure fucking don't. I wish I did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad to balance out my negativity with some positivity for this. Those are my favorite kind of episodes to try to help me change my perspective a bit, dude. I think that's one of the most important things about this podcast that we've been able to have like this blessing to experience, Dakar, is like This is episode what? 2 almost 60? You know what I'm saying? There's 260 plus movies that we've had the chance to bring a new perspective to every single week. So I'm here for it, dude. I love
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I'd rather have episodes like this all day long than episodes where we're all just like, I love Wicked. And that's all we say for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's always fun to do stuff like this.
I didn't get a chance to say my ratings.
I know. You're up next, bro. Let me hear it.
Okay, cool. So, Wicked Part 1, I'm giving a best spin to.
Okay.
I'm giving Wicked Part 1 is a best spin. It was great. It just drags throughout. It definitely drags, but I feel like it is better paced than Part 2 in some ways, and the social commentary, I mean, just in both movies definitely hit me like a ton of bricks because I wasn't expecting that in particular. I just knew that it was the behind the scenes of what happened in The Wizard of Oz. I didn't expect them to get that deep into it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely respect, what I was watching, like, to the utmost, for sure. So that first part is definitely a best spin. The third part is an Abu. Is that 3, right?
Yeah.
The second part is an Abu. It's not bad by any means. It's a continuation of what was left off from the first part. So I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the story is definitely satisfying, and I liked how everything turned out. Everything was fine on a surface level for sure. It's just that it was. I watch part 1 more than I watch part 2. I just felt like there was just sections that just lingered for too long to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt. That's just how I felt about part 2. But yeah, I mean, I dig both movies. Both movies are good. Both movies are, I'm not gonna say serviceable. They're good.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
And I'm curious. I'm more curious to see what the musical is like compared to the movies because I might not be catching certain things that
I would
I'm
be
supposed to be
so
catching.
delighted to hear y'all's reactions to the musical when you do watch it. And I will say that if you cannot get tickets to the tour whenever it comes through, look up Slime Tutorial on YouTube. There's a lot of Broadway bootleg recordings on YouTube, but because of copyright and everything, they've marked them down as slime tutorials so that YouTube doesn't flag it and then take it down. There's lots and lots of clips from the show that you could watch, and like so many different Alphabas and Glindas. But please let me know y'all's thoughts. Like, I feel like once y'all see the musical, it will make a lot more sense as to how this movie was filmed.
Yeah.
See, I don't even have to do that, though, Shannon. I'm going to see it with you, bro, because I'm going to have you as my Wicked guru with me, all right?
Word.
That'll be cool. Right. Well, that'll be really cool.
Then.
Well, we'll all figure out a time, dude. We'll have to get together, go see that. Shannon's like the musical genius I know, dude, when it comes to any musicals in theater. So any of them I trust your judgment on, dude.
Actually, I know everyone was asked what their favorite movie musical was. But without having seen the musical, I feel like, listening to the original musical definitely made me appreciate the 2021 adaptation of West Side Story more.
Okay.
I didn't watch the West Side Story adaptation, but I should.
Oh my god! Oh my bro!
I know Spielberg directed it, and it was highly anticipated, and a lot of people liked it, but I haven't had the chance to fully watch it, so I definitely will.
And it is so good. I like it better than the original '61 adaptation.
Really? I like the 61 adaptation too.
The 61 adaptation's classic, but this I think is slightly better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like Steven Spielberg really outdid himself with that, if you ask me.
Well, eventually, whenever we cover on the podcast, we'll have to get Shannon back for some more musicals, dude. I'm telling you. You'll see her back, guys. You'll see her back. But I believe it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode, guys. Good deep dive into the Wicked films and, of course, The Wiz. Coming full circle, because like I said last year, link down below if you guys want to check out that episode too. You know, Brandon did The Wizard of Oz with Wicked Part 1. So glad we got to knock these out. The only Wizard of Oz adaptation I think we're missing, dude, is the Muppets Wizard of Oz and that god-awful Sam Raimi sequel, Return to Oz. So maybe that'll be the next pairing, dude. We'll just keep doing Wizard of Oz.
Oh my god, yeah, the Jane
spin-offs.
Franco one.
Yeah,
Right.
dude.
That wasn't bad. It was okay.
Okay, dude. Let's not get it started here. Let's not. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Fun fact before we head out, I actually took a tour of the Michigan Film Studio where they shot the Return to Oz movie.
Return to Oz.
That's the Sam Raimi one, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
Sam Raimi.
Isn't it? No, the Sam Raimi one's Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, the Great and Powerful. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Is that the one made by Disney from like 95?
Yeah,
Yes.
No.
I remember. Wait, no, I thought it was.
Okay, I think. Oh, hold
Some
on.
of
I
it.
think there's
With
two
Michelle
movies
Williams?
where we're combining. I think at this point, one
Yeah.
from. Hold on. We gotta do a little Google search before we.
Hold
leave.
on, hold.
So
please.
I went to the studio that did The Great and Powerful.
Okay, yeah. Sam Raimi directed Oz the Great and Powerful, which is a prequel that came out in 2013. So what is Disney did Return to Oz, which came out in 85, is what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, isn't this supposed to be like a darker like?
Yeah, it's bad, dude.
Or like a sequel.
It's I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at. I didn't realize Deep Roy was Deep Roy's the Tin Man. Okay, let's stop. Let's stop this, dude. That's another rabbit hole by itself. That's another rabbit hole. Oh god. Well, guys, this is gonna be wrapping up for our Wicked episode this week. Shannon, it's always a pleasure getting you back on here. Of course, we'll get you on here again in the future. Where can our listeners find you?
You can find me at Shannon Axe on Instagram. That is the only handle I got for y'all.
Hell yeah.
So just follow me on there.
Hell yeah. And Cam, it's been a pleasure getting you on here to make your podcast debut finally. For our listeners, like you said, you got to check out Cam and Femme Fatale. You're also in the Minecraft live stream we did earlier this year, now that I think about it.
That's right.
That was a lot of fun, too. Where can our listeners find you, Cam?
They could also find me on Instagram, just Cameron Steele, or my Lego account, Cam Builds Legos.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And for our listeners, a little bit of a inside scoop this week. You can see both Shannon and Cam in our first feature film here at Galaxy of Film coming out at some point, we don't know when, called Obscene, Indecent, and Profane. Got some great performances out of these two in that film. I cannot wait for everyone to see that. It's looking so fucking good. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode, Dakari. I know next week we got some more stuff planned by talking about the new Knives Out film, Wake Up Dead Man. I had a chance to see that when I was in LA last month. So yeah, stay tuned. Here's our thoughts on some more Knives Out. We've talked about the other films before already, so that'll be fun. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us an iTunes or Spotify review. It truly does help out the show much more than you can imagine. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
You can find all our other podcast, original films, articles, and music on our website, galaxyoffilm.com. We're also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content and our Facebook fan club for early access to our films.